Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to preview the Tennessee Titans versus Indianapolis Colts Week 12 matchup. That is right, I'm still here. This handsome face is still here. So as I explained in my last video, which is now 2 weeks ago, that was my Colts versus Titans recap. My streaming laptop broke, so I had to take the next week to fix that. It's fixed now, it's great. It was the dumbest issue ever, but it's over. And then, starting last Sunday, I had family from out of town, including even out of the country, coming in, and I really had to host them and be a good host, and I just didn't have the time. Family's the priority, as you all know, so I just had to dedicate time to family this week during Thanksgiving week. That's just what I had to do. So finally, now being able to make a video, get in the group, we're going to discuss Titans-Ravens for a good bit in this video. Some of you out there are so weird. Some of you thought that I wasn't making a recap on the video because we won. I mean, how delusional. Some of you people really think I hate this team. It's one of the weirdest things. I'll never understand it. I mean, I must really love wasting my time. That's what some of you people believe. But no, I did not make a recap video last week because we won. That was not the reason why. Some of you people. So anyway, we're going to discuss Titans versus Colts. We're going to discuss Titans versus Ravens, but quickly. In fact, let's go ahead and start with Titans versus Ravens because there's a lot to discuss. Let's just go ahead and get into it because all you guys want to know my thoughts from the game. So let's go ahead and look at my Titan, my MJ takes. I almost forgot my own name for it. My MJ takes of the Titans versus Baltimore Ravens game, a game in which the Tennessee Titans pulled out in overtime, a very entertaining game to watch pretty much for the entire game. Ooh, things were looking scary there in the second to third quarter, but we pulled it out in Tennessee Titans 2020 fashion, as we've done oh so much. So what were my MJ takes of the game? Well, firstly, I like this Breon Borders. This kid can play. And you all know me. I'm always the guy that's like, let's be hesitant before we believe these, practice squad players, these no-name players, these players we don't know much about. Let's wait and see how they actually look on the field before we hype them up, right? Because I've seen too many Michael Prestons, too many Trey McBrides, too many of these type of players that we hype up. They never do anything. Too many David Cobbs, too many Bishop Sakis, too many. Get on the field. And Bishop Sakis was a high pick. He was a second round pick. But too many guys, just get on the field. Can you play? When you play, then I'm interested. Breon Borders can play. Okay, and this makes me very intrigued whenever you can get him out there. And also who I like, Desmond King II, the second king on this roster, by the way. And having Adoree Jackson potentially back in the lineup. Do we actually have a potentially good cornerback core? And then, a little Malcolm Butler being number 4. He wouldn't be number 4. They would still have him as a number 2. He'd be number 4 in my eyes. But yeah, hey, wait a minute. Now, Malcolm Butler as a number 4 option, to me, he's not a number 4 option. Let me be clear, not a number 4 option, but number 4 in terms of how I view him as a player on this football team. Yeah, because Breon Borders has been playing better than Malcolm Butler. Sorry, it's true. Interesting. Okay, interesting. But we have problems outside of the defense, outside of the cornerbacks. Unfortunately, the problems are mounting. So I'm not saying that's going to fix everything, but it's interesting. So moving on to the next thing. Yeah, the pass protection is becoming a problem again. And in the middle of the game, Tannehill started struggling, and it was largely due to the pass protection. He was about 4 of 10 when pressured, had the interception when pressured. Corey Brewer played well-ish. He had some lapses in concentration at left guard. Aaron Brewer, the new left guard. But, oh my God, so Tyson Brilo, now he's injured. David Quessenberry is in now at left tackle, and we don't know what's going on. And people want Isaiah Wilson to play. Isaiah Wilson, I'm telling you, they don't want him to play. They would rather play me at this point than Isaiah Wilson. This guy has done so many shady things, not even shady, just out in the open, too, just getting DUIs out in the open. But even outside of that, showing up to the facility late for practice, not, committing himself to the playbook, not being a great teammate, not being consistent in practice, even on the field. They do not want to reward Isaiah Wilson with any playing time whatsoever. I'm telling you, if Isaiah Wilson was selected in the 3rd round or lower, he would have been cut already. 2nd round, 50-50. 1st round, okay, he's on the border where, yeah, we'll keep him. But next year, if he doesn't get his act together, he's gone. He is that much on the border of this. They would rather play David Quessenberry than their 1st round pick tackle. He is on the border of this roster. They do not want to play this man. They do not want to reward him with playing time. That's just the situation. And he might play this week. I doubt it. He might play soon. But I'm just telling you, they don't want to play him. And that's just the current situation. So it's very unfortunate. We'll see how this, situation develops moving forward. But I'm just telling you right now. But the good thing when I look at this Tennessee Titans offensive line, and I have to admit it here, this Nate Davis might be good. I mean, I've been looking at Nate Davis lately. This guy has been playing well at the right guard position, really improving, showing more power, showing better technique. He is improving ever since his first game in the league. And I was critical. And my thing is, yes, rookies can always improve. I'm not going to say they can't, but when I see bad play, I'm going to call it out. Now, maybe I was a little early because sometimes I would suggest that maybe in the future we might have to move on from Nate Davis. Okay, maybe that was premature. Nate Davis has progressed, and it's great. I love when players progress. I love when Jonnu Smith, I was critical of Jonnu Smith. He progressed. It's great. I was critical of Kendall Wright. He never progressed, right? So sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but I'm going to call it how it is, and that's why you're here. So I'm telling you, though, Nate Davis has improved. Love seeing this. Continue that trajectory. I want to see more of that. All right. A.J. Brown. You can feel it. It's electric with A.J. Brown, and he is still elite. He's still elite, people. And I think most people actually agree with me on this, on the elite, the MJ elite meter. I think people agree with me that he has not earned the E of elite yet. And we saw the drop in this game, huge drop in this game. And even the pass interference call in the 1st quarter, he should have had that catch. Yes, it was pass interference. An elite wide receiver still makes that catch anyway. That's what an elite wide receiver does. He catches it despite the pass interference. But what did he do? In the 4th quarter, that last drive, he went ham. Oh my goodness, that touchdown. I was doing the electric slide, just watching. A.J. Brown bulldozed his way into the end zone. A grown man play. That's tough. And we are a tough football team in Tennessee. Love seeing it. And speaking of wide receivers, Corey Davis, I want him re-signed, period. The thing is, he has what A.J. Brown sometimes doesn't. Sometimes. A.J. Brown has difficulty making those difficult catches, making those catches through contact. Corey Davis is better at that. Corey Davis has a more refined route tree, a little more consistent with his route running, a little more consistent with his run blocking. They complement each other so well. This is such a great duo that we have. And they both could break, we'll see, it's going to be tight. They both could break over 1,000 yards this season. And that would be beautiful to see. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's possible right now. So I'd love to see it. But I want him re-signed, man. I think he's so valuable at this point. Is he more valuable than Jonnu Smith? I think it's getting close. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith had a touchdown in this game. Jonnu, by the way. He's still getting touchdowns. All he does is get touchdowns. And I love that. He's very valuable. I want them both. And if you told me we had to let go of Jayon Brown, then fine, we're letting go of Jayon Brown. But I'm telling you, man, if Corey Davis goes to Green Bay, if Corey Davis goes to Kansas City, if Corey Davis goes wherever, he's going to put up points and we're going to say, wow, we had a great wide receiver in Tennessee. We got to maintain these 2 wide receivers, man. I mean, these are the most consistent wide receivers. Well, Corey Davis is not consistent yet. But this is the most promising our wide receiver core's been ever at the top 2. When you look at the top 2 wide receivers. And I just want to see more of this. Can we just see more of it? Let them continue to develop and get better and help each other's games. I want them to continue to be a great duo. I want Corey Davis re-signed. This guy is playing like an absolute monster. Now, some of you people might be into hookers. I'm not. But this Amani Hooker, now that's a hooker I'm interested in. This guy had the game of his career last week. Absolute beast, had the interception, had a critical pass breakup, was in position to make plays. He's now coming into his own. Kenny Vaccaro, we're going to get to him in a moment. He's likely going to be out for this game. I don't care because now we have Amani Hooker, and we also have Desmond King, who will also play a lot of that box safety and whatnot for our secondary. So the Kenny Vaccaro gonna start to be phased out of this defense a little bit. He hasn't been playing great this year anyway. He's had some good games, but if he gets phased out, that's fine because we're gonna have to start to make some cuts as some people get paid. That's just what happens. That's just the way this league works. But last and certainly not least, long live the king, Derrick Henry. I mean, this guy's an absolute monster. I mean, he is an absolute beast. He is a legend in the making. He is quickly becoming the best Tennessee Titans. I'm not talking Houston Royals. I'm not talking Earl Campbell. The best Tennessee Titans running back ever. Chris Johnson has considerably better stats, career stats. I think 3,000 more rushing yards at this point. I'm not sure how many more touchdowns. Eddie George has like 4,000 more rushing yards. I'm not sure how many more touchdowns. But has there ever been a more clutch running back for us? Chris Johnson played great in 2008, and we won a lot of games. But we didn't win a lot of games just because of Chris Johnson. It was because of the running game in general. It was a smash, and it was the dash, and it was the defense. In 2009, he played great. We didn't win a lot of games because of him. We won a decent amount, but you could attribute a lot of it to Vince Young and the efforts that he was doing late in that season, right? There was a reason we were 0-6. When Chris Johnson he wasn't running as well as he was later in the season, but he was still running decently well. So Chris Johnson had the stats, but not really the impact. Eddie George had the impact, not really the stats. Barely, if ever, got over 4 yards a carry. This Derrick Henry is the combination of both. And we got more years to come. And he is, let's knock on wood, indestructible it seems. I am intrigued. Long live the king. And it is so great. We are so tough. We are such a tough and, oh my God, in the fourth quarter, that's why A.J. Brown can shove people off him and go into the end zone. That's why Derrick Henry can shove people off him and go into the end zone. Because they're tough. We're tough, we're physical, we're mean, we're nasty. I don't know why this doesn't show up all the time, or we can't just show up, against the Indianapolis Colts and be tough, or we can't just show up against the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Giant game and be tough. I don't know, but whenever it works, it's dangerous. I love it, and I love to see it. So that's great. So that's pretty much it for the game. Other thoughts on the game, just quickly, because I already spent more than I even anticipated I would on the game. It was frustrating to see when we were down, but, again, we got our passing game rolling a little bit as the pass protection got better. Tano got in a better rhythm. Wide receivers got involved. Defensively, Harold Landry got a sack. He's good. Not great, but he's good. No help for him. Missing Jadeveon Clowney. Still some problems offensively, and I have some concerns because although we limited the Ravens to 24 points, we know the Ravens formula. People are catching on to this. Force Lamar Jackson to throw to his wide receivers. He's in trouble. By the way, that Mark Andrews was ripping us to shreds. I don't know what Kevin Byard is doing half of the time. Our zone coverage is still a disaster against these tight ends. It needs to be fixed. So now, let's move back to the headlines of the week for the Tennessee Titans. What were the headlines of the week? Well, we don't have great headlines. Okay, Jayon Brown's out for the season. Ouch. And this is a season where Rashaan Evans is not playing well. And that is especially against the pass and even against the run. So not having Jayon Brown out there will hurt. Now, hopefully this, and not even hopefully, it should, forces them to play David Long Jr., who is now the second-year man, who played well at the end of last season into the playoffs and for some reason has not played this season at all. I think before this upcoming game, he's had 25 snaps in defense at all this year. Doesn't make sense to me. Get him out there. Let's see what he can do. Will Compton's been playing more than him, and I think we should be, seeing what we have here in David Long Jr. So that's unfortunate. The hits keep coming. Jadeveon Clowney and Tyson Bradley placed on IR, and I've jokingly taunted, I guess, Tyson Bradley a little bit, but he's been playing better. So missing him hurts because now you're talking about David Questenberry being out there at left tackle. This is not a comfortable conversation we're talking about at our left tackle position. It's actually kind of a disaster. So he played fine when he was out there, but it's only going to work for so long. I mean, they're going to be forced to throw Isaiah Wilson out there, and we're going to see how that works out. But I'm telling you, man, they have their claws in. They do not want to play this man, Isaiah Wilson. But we're going to see what's going to happen, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. But the one good news is that Brett Kern has returned. No more Trevor Daniel, who was out there for reasons, because he has connections, because he has whatever, not because he can punt the football, certainly not because of that. So that was not the reason why Trevor Daniel was out there. The punter? No, he was not out there because he could punt. Mike Rebel, you asked him, so why was Trevor Daniel out there? Your punter. He's like, what? Oh, wait, that was our punter? Oh, I didn't put him out there to punt. I just put him out there. I don't know. He has this connection. I just put him out there. He was a punter. I mean, he was not a punter. So, not a real punter anyway. So now we have not only a real punter, but this guy might be the GOAT. Because looking at how our punting situation went from one of the best in the league consistently over the past number of seasons, several seasons, to literally being the worst, being utter garbage, being trash. Yeah, maybe Brett Kern is the greatest of all time punter. Yeah, yes or yes. Craig Hentrick, you've been beat. Okay, especially when it comes to the Tennessee Titans punters. And we've had some great punters. But for some reason, Brett Kern is even still the best of all time, and he has returned. So, let us get to the injury report for this upcoming game, Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans. And the injury report is, leaning not in our favor, but the Colts are having their problems. So let's start with the Colts today. So the Indianapolis Colts, I'm likely believing that their center Ryan Kelly will be out. He missed Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday practices. I would expect for him to be out, but they have him listed as questionable. Quentin Nelson had limited participation on Friday, but did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. That was like a 50-50 situation. Bobby Okereke, their linebacker, will be out. DeForest Buckner, the defensive tackle, will be out. He's their best defender and one of the reasons why the run defense is so good. And despite how strong the run defense is, we were still able to run the football on them, whenever we played them. So that's a good sign. So that even that when he's not out there, we can even run better, than we ran when he was out there. So that's something to look at. Outside of that, Phillip Rivers, yeah, he's on this report. He'll play. Not really worried about that. And Anthony Walker, full participation, he's likely to play. That's pretty much all that's significant there when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts injury report. What about our injury report? Oh, that is the wrong image. All right, so there we go. We have Adoree Jackson still out, still not playing. This has gotten ridiculous. They have not been honest about this injury from the get-go. This is, as I'm recording this video, November 28th. We had expected, foolishly, that this man was going to miss 3 weeks. We're going into week 12. Okay, this is a disaster. Now, this is an unmitigated disaster. And, it's very unfortunate because we had high expectations for Adoree Jackson this season. Are we even going to see him this season? Yeah, I believe so. But until we see it, who the hell knows? So it's just very frustrating. We're into week 12. We expect to see week 4. We're into week 12. And he still hasn't played. We've been talking about when we get Adoree back, when we get Adoree back, when we get Adoree back. Is it even going to happen? I think it will. But come on, we've been waiting for so long. Outside of that, Ben Jones, limited should play. Same story for Roger Saffold. So thank you, Aaron Brewer, for your contributions last week. But Roger Saffold, let's get you back out there. Adam Humphries, man, having issues. And, he's been all right when he's been out there. He can move the chains. But we're not getting enough production out of this guy. You're talking about 374 receiving yards last season. I don't even know how many he has this season. He might have less. I don't think he's going to break even 500 yards this season. Are we getting our bang for buck with this guy? Absolutely not. And I think it's still too much money to cut him next season, but we're not getting our bang for our buck from Humphries right now, and that's just the absolute truth of the matter. And Michael Pruitt, he will be out for this game as well. But Jeff Swain's been playing all right. He's had some lapses, but he's also came up with some nice catches, some nice run blocking, so I'm fine with Jeff Swain being out there. So what do the Tennessee Titans have to do to defeat the Indianapolis Colts? They were embarrassed. In their last outing against these Indianapolis Colts, what can they do to improve? What can they do? Can they replicate the format that they had against the Baltimore Ravens to come up with the victory? Well, let's get into the tighten up keys to the game. And let's start with key number 1. We must win time of possession. This is absolutely vital. We have to run the ball with Derrick Henry and hold on to the ball as long as possible. If we allow the Colts to win time of possession as they did in the previous game against us, for Phillip Rivers to have his long drives, and by the way, one thing I didn't mention actually, Jonathan Taylor, the running back for the Indianapolis Colts, he wasn't on the injury report, but he got put on the COVID-19 list. So now Nyheim Hines will be relied upon in the run game. If we allow Nyheim Hines and Phillip Rivers to just slowly matriculate their way down the field, having those long drives, we will lose this game again. Our defense is just not equipped. You're talking about no Jayon Brown. You're talking about no Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, the cornerbacks, Brown Board has been playing better, but still no Dory Jackson. We cannot stop this Indianapolis Colts team, or I'll say this, if we don't stop this Indianapolis Colts team from just slowly going down the field, we will lose the time of possession again very easily, and we're likely to lose the game because the more you limit our opportunities offensively, the more you are likely to beat us. You know, that's why we couldn't come back against Kansas City in last year's AFC Championship game. So we must win the time of possession, run Derrick Henry, long live the King. Number 2, and this was the key in the last game against the Colts too, you got to force some turnovers. That's how you beat Phillip Rivers in this Indianapolis Colts offense. You got to force Phillip Rivers to turn the ball over, force him, get some strip sacks if you can, which, by the way, asking us to sack anybody is ridiculous. I mean, we didn't have a sack until the very end of last week's game. But, you got to try. And at the very least, get some interceptions. And we've been doing better at that. Okay, so at the very least, that's something that we could do. We can get some interceptions. So Manu Hooker try to step up. Kevin Byard, man, we need some Kevin Byard magic right now. I'm not saying that Kevin Byard's a bad player, but he's certainly not an elite player right now. He certainly is not elite. Force some turnovers, please. This man had, 3-4 interceptions against the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago. Now he can't afford one. Come on, man. Step up, force some turnovers. Please, we need them. And then number 3, and this was huge last week, stop them in the red zone. We must stop them in the red zone. We must turn touchdown opportunities into only field goals. This is huge. This is one of the reasons why the Baltimore Ravens were able to beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts sustained some good drives against the Ravens, but then they go all the way down the field, and then all of a sudden Phillip Rivers would turn the ball over, or all of a sudden it'd be a turnover on downs, or all of a sudden they'd be taking a field goal instead of a touchdown, and boom, before you knew it, the Ravens won 24-10, despite not even having a very impressive day for them offensively. And I know we can do better than the Ravens did against the Colts offensively. I know this. So that is absolutely key for us. I think the Ravens formula and how they beat the Colts, we can't quite replicate it because we don't have the pass rush that the Ravens do. But we can definitely emulate some things. And what the Ravens did, they stopped them in the red zone. They forced 2 critical turnovers. And one was, and they also forced a turnover on downs as well. They won time of possession, I think they won time of possession. But at the very least, they definitely forced all those turnovers and won in the red zone. And they won the game. Before you knew it, the game was over. And the Baltimore Ravens won. So ultimately, what is my prediction? Who do I have winning this game? So last week, I had us winning. Although I didn't come here and I said it, I had us winning, and I'm on the record for that on Twitter and at my Pigskin Pick'em League, where, by the way, your boy's in second place in his own league. He might win the damn league. The $100 gift card is going to go to me. But, yeah, and I picked us last week knowing that I shouldn't. I literally said, I know I shouldn't pick us to win, but I think we're going to pull it out. I actually said the same thing the week prior to against the Colts. I said, I know I probably shouldn't pick us to win this game, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to believe that we're going to pull it out, right? That's what I said. This is not going to be one of those times, unfortunately. I have to. I think the odds are just too stacked against us this time. I have to pick the Indianapolis Colts to win this game. You're just talking about, I know they're missing DeForest Buckner and Jonathan Taylor. Nyheim Hines, he's going to hurt us just as much as Jonathan Taylor would, to be honest with you. DeForest Buckner, that helps us. It does. But, man, you're talking about our left tackle, and I think Warder-Sapp is going to be back, but our left tackle situation and just how bad we looked against them last time on our own field. Now we're going to go to Indianapolis and beat them in this very critical AFC South game where, again, Phillip Rivers and the Colts, Phillip Rivers with the Chargers and the Colts in general, they feel so comfortable beating us, and We just really haven't bucked that trend. If we bucked it, we would have bucked it in our own house on prime time 2 weeks ago, and we didn't. And that was just incredibly frustrating. And the defense, again, Noah Dory out there and no Jadeveon Clowney. Where's the pass rush going to come from? I can't do it this time. For the rest of the season, I think I'll pick us to win maybe every game. I might even pick us to beat the Packers. I might actually. I feel better about us potentially beating the Packers than the Colts right now. Because I think at that point, Dory will be back. Maybe Clown will be back. But right now, I'm sorry. I can't. This is going to be one of the few times of the year I just can't. I just, as I'm biased enough, and I want to be unbiased, but as objective as I can be here, I have us losing. Indianapolis Colts 31, Tennessee Titans 27. I hope I'm wrong because this pretty much essentially screws us for the AFC South. But in this updated playoff format, I think we'll still make the wild card. I think we're really barreling towards this 11-5 because I'll tell you this. I think we're going to beat the Browns next week. I feel better about the Browns than the Colts. I think we'll beat can't remember who's after that, but I know we face the Texans again. I think we'll beat the Texans, although the Texans are looking a little bit better offensively. That's scaring me. We go face after the Browns, so this is the schedule. We host the Browns. We travel to Jacksonville. We'll beat Jacksonville. We'll host the Lions. We'll beat the Lions. We'll travel to Green Bay. We'll see. But we're going to win 3 straight after this. 3 straight. Boom, boom, boom. 10-4 Tennessee Titans, right? Yes or yes. Okay, and then we'll have the Green Bay Packers, maybe. And then we'll go to the Texans, maybe. We're already going to be 10-4. I said we win one of those last 2. We go 11-5. That was my prediction before the season. That's what I see. If we win this game, all of a sudden, 13-3 is still on the damn table. Now, I'll tell you it's looking more 12-4 because I still don't know if we'd beat both the Packers and the Texans or that we'd even want to beat the Texans week 17. But it'd be on the table. So it's going to be interesting. I have to have us listen to this one. I'm sorry, but hopefully your boy's wrong. I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. So there you go. That is my preview of the Tennessee Titans versus Indianapolis Colts. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.